Alright, welcome back everybody to Katawa Shoujo. Now we are just returning to the classroom with Hanako and yeah, let's see what happens. I open the rear door to the class and walk in. The teacher looks up at me and opens his mouth to say something. However, as Hanako follows me and closes the door, he simply nods to us and continues his lecture. I wonder what ignoring of Hanako, or maybe they just do they ignore her, or do they just let her do her thing? I wonder. Probably they just let her do her thing. This is the third time that Hanako has had her truancy practically ignored. There's definitely something going on here. Yeah, probably. Maybe she really... Yeah, of course she has a trauma, but what kind... I'm so curious. We make our ways to our seat, and I notice that Misha and Shizune are both missing as well. Huh. I wonder if it is someone from form of informal agreement with the staff, or if it is a perk afforded to the unique students of this school. Trying to make as little disturbance as I can, I extract the relevant textbooks from my bag and start catching up. The class goes on quietly. The teacher seems like an okay person, despite the weird first impression I got, and the material is relatively interesting. However, the way he teaches is really bizarre. It's as if he expects that everyone is a natural genius. Yeah, I hate this kind of teacher. You know, I've got a funny story for that. You know, in the end now the music interrupts me, but when I was in sixth grade, I had a math teacher I already had since 5th grade, and in 6th grade I realized that he's not that nice, because I became bad at maths, because we start with geometry, or I don't know how we say it in English, the stuff where you draw things like triangles and stuff, and you have to, you have to work with that kind of stuff, and yeah, I'm just bad at everything that has to do with a pencil. I'm bad at. As long as I can write, everything is okay, and I'm good. I can. I'm not that bad at math, but geometry is really heavy for me. So I realized that this teacher is actually not nice when you are not good at math, but when you're good at math, he was totally nice. Fascinating. Well, anyway, hey, I think music is a little bit loud again. I think that's okay. That's maybe a little bit. So maybe like this. Okay, I think that's okay. When the final bell sounds, I realize that there's still a lot of time left in the day, and I'm left wondering what to do. It's odd. At the hospital I had 24 hours a day of free time, but here filling the considerably shorter hours feels difficult. I don't know, I'm having fun, I don't know about you. Everyone else leaves, and I'm left alone with the teacher. Muto is examining the assignment sheets we were working on earlier, marking them with a red ball pen. Raising his eye from his papers briefly, he notices me and furrows his brow. What is it, Nakai? I jump at him addressing me, but I guess it's natural to spark some conversation since there's nobody else around. Nothing. Thinking about what I do after school. The teacher slowly puts the cap on the pen he is holding and arranges his papers into a stack, clacking it against the desk twice. You know, whoever wrote that loves people arranging their paper. He seems very methodical, and for a brief moment I'm reminded of Shizune. The teacher is more unhurried and relaxed, much more routine. You have no plans? No, I considered joining a club, but don't know what kind of club would interest me. Go observe a meeting of some else's club. Might pique your interest, I guess. But I don't know how to continue from there. Muto looks at me in a way that makes me quickly want to take the words back to avoid the conversation. But I can't, so I have to forge ahead. I just don't know how to deal with people. I mean, the other students. I'm talking to people and everything, so it's not that I'd be isolated or anything. I just don't know what to think about. The disabilities. It's like... It feels that I'm being impolite if I pay attention to them, and it's weird to ignore them. Now you have problems, man. Be yourself! Just be yourself. I mean, okay, maybe it's difficult. Like the first few days, it's his third day, okay, but you know, that's just, you know, be one of them. You know, just be cool with it. Damned if I do, damned if I don't. The teacher scratches his cheek, absent-mindedly, looking very unresponsive. These things are only an issue if you make them one. 100% correct. Thank you, Mr. Muto. You can talk normally with someone, even if they are blind or something. Thank you, Mr. Muto. Try to look behind the superficial. There's not a single student here who isn't just a normal kid behind whatever they might seem at first glance. Thank you, Mr. Muto. He says the same thing as Yuko did, and it's still completely right. I know they're right, but it's hard. How can you not consider, for example, Shizune's deafness when the only way to communicate with her is talk through Misha? I'm cool with that. Or Hanako. It's not like you can ignore her face. You're really not that nice, aren't you? But... I'm interrupted by the door of the classroom suddenly slamming open. Who else? Teacher! Misha crashes in, hands straight in an enthusiastic greeting, her voice loud and lively enough to wake the dead from their graves. She starts towards the teacher's desk with her bouncing steps, hands energetically swinging with the rhythm. Muto, visibly dismayed at the interruption, and Misha in general, slumps in his chair. Mikado. Misha steps in her tracks and looks around cluelessly, as if she's sensing from his tone that something's wrong, but has no idea what. Yes? We have talked about volume control before. Yes? But she doesn't lower her voice at all, and the teacher just rubs his eyes. So what is it? We need help. We are running out of supplies for the festival stands. This is a distress. She waves a pink slip of paper she's holding around. She is holding around? Do you say that? So go get more supplies from the art room. What's the problem with that? Plywood. Plywood is always the problem. Last time we wanted more, there was only a little, but that time we just took it all and went with that. Now there's like none left there. So do you know where there is some? I don't understand. How would I know? Shi-chan, I mean the president, thought that the teacher would know if there's plywood. Was she wrong? Muto looks like he is in great pain, frowning with his entire essence, and Misha doesn't get it at all. Looking at the two of them communicate is terrible. Looking at a man being tortured by drilling his skull open while blasting pop music at full volume at the same time. You know, sometimes the things he compares are even stranger than Kenji's monologues. I'm afraid I have no idea if there's any plywood in the school, let alone where it would be if there was any. Oh, what should I do? Perhaps try to find Mr. Nomiya, also Nomiya's a man. I'm quite sure he would know where to find everything you need. You'd have to pry them from his cold, dead hands, but that's a different matter. I don't have time, we are so busy. She holds her head with both her hands, looking as despairing as possible for a person like her. Without even noticing, she crumbles the note she's holding against her hair. I shouldn't even be fetching these things. There's so much to do and we are falling behind the schedule. Muto looks at her gravely and then suddenly smiles. Smiling doesn't really fit his face. I think it'd be better if he didn't. I don't see his smile. Does he smile? Well, maybe a little. I wonder if you could get some temporary help. He switches to staring at me focusedly with a hard expression, as if trying to say, go make some friends. Yeah, like the stick of truth. I guess I can give you a hand. You can? Thanks, Hichan. You are really nice. She pauses, does a double take, and then points at me with her finger, yelping, ah! And looking very puzzled. Come to think of it, what's Hichan doing here? Class is over. You should be having fun. We just had a little chat. Oh no, it's not detention, is it? Are you in trouble, Hichan? No, I'm not. Is Hichan in trouble, teacher? No, he's not. Oh man, how could I not like her in the beginning? Maybe she's too... maybe... Man, I'm too judgmental. I'm a dick. He's always a dick, I'm a dick. It's a good thing that I'm playing. Muto sighs deeply and I feel that I have to help Misha to get her off the teacher's back. So what do you need? Here's the list. We can try to find the plywood from somewhere if there's none in the art room. She offers me the note she's holding. I take it, hesitating a bit. I said I'd help you, but this has no implications on whether I'm joining the council or not. Aww. Still, thanks, Hichan. Try to be quick. We are in a stall building streak now. We must hurry, hurry, hurry. She bounces out of the classroom, leaving me and the teacher looking at each other with something that feels like a silent agreement. Well, there you have it, Nakai. You have something to do now. Please don't sound so smug. Yeah, this was kind of unnecessary. Looking at the list with a number of items ranging from paint to plywood, all written with small, neat handwriting, it is undoubtedly Shizune's. I have a sigh. I'll be going then. Waving the long list limply at the teacher, I exit to the hallway. The classrooms closest to ours are designated belonging to classes 3-1 and 3-2 on the right side and 3-4 on the left side, each door looking exactly the same. Further down the corridor, still with identical doors, a room that I didn't think were used for classes. I guess the art room is not a classroom as such. I carefully push open the furthest door and peek in. Oh man, I'm so dry. I'm like two hours recording or something. I love this game. I can't stop. I can't stop. I drank a little bit. Sorry for the interruption. I carefully push open the furthest door and peek in. It's a classroom, but it seems rather badly kept or not in use. Am I in the right place? Who do I get to know now? Desks and chairs are all around the room, a thin layer of dust settled on them. There are some easels in the corner, so at least this looks like the right place. The room is flushed in sunlight from the big windows, shadows creeping all over the desks. Sorry. Specks of dust are dancing in the stagnant air, making the beams of light almost visible. Jokingly, I call into the empty room. Anybody ho? Something catches my eye and I stop mid-sentence. Yeah, I knew. A girl wearing a boy's uniform, okay. Sitting on a desk is a short-haired girl. Curiously wearing a boy's uniform with a fork between her toes. Ah, she has no arms, sorry. A morsel of food stuck firmly on the end. This odd way of dining seems to be caused by her apparent lack of hands, but her presence here is what takes me aback even more. How did I miss her before? She's sitting in a corner very still, but I still somehow took her as a part of the furnishing or a statue at first glance. I'm not being too observant today as a whole. The girl seems to be frozen in place, staring at me with her huge eyes like a rabbit in headlights. She's staring at me, her mouth wide open, ready to accept the fork. I'm staring at her, my mouth wide open, suddenly remembering I didn't finish my sentence, and trying to think if I should. This weird stalemate keeps us both stunned into silence, punctuated only by the wall clock ticking rhythmically. Hello, strange girl. You are not very alright. She's wearing a boy's uniform. That's actually kinda strange. The girl stuffs the forkful in her mouth and is now staring at me expectantly while chewing. This is a bit awkward. Hello, I was told to pick up some supplies from here. For some festival stalls, I think. I didn't think there would be someone here. There isn't. That's why I came here too. She picks up another forkful. Doesn't that mean you're here then? She raises her eyebrows as if she was suspecting my observation was false. You are pretty observant. I guess it does. But who are you? This girl is pretty straightforward, isn't she? I'm Nakai. Isao Nakai. I just transferred in on Monday. I'm Rin. Tensuka, I say Rin. Or Rin. I know, it's complicated. Rin, or something like this in Japanese. Rin in wrong English Japanese. And Rin in wrong German Japanese. So, I'll go with Rin. Okay, Rin. Rin. I'm Rin. Rin. Alright. I'm Rin. Tezuka Rin. Rin Tezuka. Yeah, I get it. I won't shake hands with you, but at least we know who we are now. Oh, she's cool. That's very nice. A deadpan manner of talking makes it hard to determine whether she's joking about shaking hands or not. It kinda bothers me. Joking about these matters doesn't feel appropriate at all. Yeah, you get used to it, I think. While I'm trying to figure out what's appropriate and whether this girl is, she seems to have lost interest in me and now is gazing yearningly back at her food. Can I continue my lunch? If you don't mind me, I won't mind you. If you need to get your stuff, the supplies are at the back. Go right ahead, but lunch? School's already over for the day. What word would you use then? There's no word for a meal you eat after lunch but before dinner, right? It bothers me very much too, but I don't really know what I should say. I'm sure there is. Between lunch and dinner. Well, we call that in Germany Kaffee. Like coffee. But I don't know if there's a word in English. Tea time maybe in Britain. I don't think you are supposed to eat a meal between lunch and dinner to begin with. But I'm hungry now and my delicious boxed lunch would go to waste otherwise. I have curry. It's very delicious. With much decisiveness, Rin once again picks up the fork between her toes and with at least as much impoliteness she points it straight at me. So Nakai, what brings you to this place? Like I said, I was told to look for those things. No, the school. From outside you look fine. Is your problem inside? I come to a full stop, opening my mouth, but not getting a word out. I can guess. I'm good at guessing. Better than most people. Rin cuts me off before I can answer a question, or skirt around it somehow. I don't know which I would have done. I froze in front of the issue. Again. I haven't even told anyone here about my condition. Or maybe it's only because it hasn't really come up. I do get the feeling that not making issues of this is a part of the social code here, as the teacher said. I wonder if the people here could relate. Probably not any better than any normal person could. I can't relate to Shizune's circumstances. Or Lily's either. Yeah, that's because you're a douchebag. Somebody has to make a douchebag counter. I at least said that like 10 times now. Naturally, while I go through this in my head, Rin keeps considering what my condition could be, with an overly contemplative look on her face. She puts a fork between her lips and leans back, looking at the ceiling as if the answer was written up there. A beam of light illuminates her face from the window side, creating a mask of dark shadow on the other side. I don't think it's anything in your head, and something in your guts would be boringly ordinary, like this lunchtime. Damn it. The problem must be in your. Alright, she is definitely super cool. Like, super cool. This messed up Sherlock Holmes kind of statement and the sheer lack of the tact it was delivered with catches me completely off guard. I think I might reel it back even physically as Rin's eyes widen in revelation and astonishment. So I was right. There's something wrong with your tackle, isn't there? Still partially in shock, but recognizing the need to reply something, I spit out the first thing that I can think of. No, nothing like that. I have a heart problem. Arrhythmia. I said it. More like blurted it out, but I said it. The girl in front of me purses her lips together and glowers at me, looking very disappointed. How boring. Trouble in the pants would have been much more scandalous. What's with this reaction? I'm sorry to let you down. I forgive you. Just, I collect people, and a person with, you know, that kind of problem would have been really great. Collect people? People with different problems. Ah, so you just, like, go around asking people what's wrong with them? Pretty much. Look at her face. Wonderful. So bored. With little left to say, Rin resumes her lunch and the conversation dies anyway, but I keep thinking about what was said. It's the first time I told anyone else about my condition. All the other people have either known about it already or heard about it from someone else. I didn't need to know about it, like every other student here so far. Should I have told it as a natural part of introduction? Is it expected of me? Hi, I'm Hiso. I have a very serious heart condition. Is that how I'm supposed to go around introducing myself from now on? As if our disabilities would define us. What a disgusting thought. No, but you have to accept that's a part of it. You know, you don't have to introduce yourself with it, but it's a part of you. Accept it. You know, when someone, and you don't, if you make a too big deal out of it, I mean, I'm the one to talk, really. I don't have any disabilities or something like that. But if I, you know, you can say if I was, if I were in his, if I had his condition, you know, I would do this and that. But act just natural, man. Or maybe this Tezuka girl has just has an unnatural interest in such things. As I walk to the back of the room to pick up the items on Misha's list, a chance opens to study Rin from the corner of my eyes. Really, from the corner of my eye. Her hair is a burnt auburn, almost orange. Well, not really orange, and cropped short. Long hair would probably be impossible with no arms. Yeah, probably hard to rush and all, right? The boy's uniform and the lack of arms make her look very thin, almost scrawny. She's not particularly pretty, except for her murky green eyes, which flicker restlessly from below her short bangs, even when she eats. Oh well, I think she's cute. The distance and the shadows make it seem like they don't reflect sunlight at all, but instead absorb all of it within them like deep walls. She moves her feet almost as deftly as a normal person would use their arms. However, I can see how this sight could discomfort people, especially while eating. It makes me feel a bit uncomfortable at least. Because you're a douchebag. Man, I said this so many times. I hesitate to think about the word unnatural, but it's too late now, isn't it? I keep searching the cabins and shelves for Misha's things, but after enough time passes, the silence grows too uncomfortable. so I tried to force some conversation out of this strange girl. So do you always eat alone and this late, or do you get the occasional visitor? Visitors. Maybe you are my first occasional visitor. But I don't always eat alone either. Sometimes I eat with a certain person on the roof, if she's not horsing around. Horsing? She likes to do sports. I already know who you are talking about Amy. Oh, and that's all I can think of to say. It's funny how we have only groups of two, you know. Lily with Hanako, Shizune with Misha, and probably Rin with Emi. Both of us fall silent again as Rin forks the last bits of her meal to her mouth. I look down at my haul and double check it with Misha's list. It seems I have everything except plywood. So I think I have all the things now. That's very nice for you. Don't feel obliged to stay. I was about to take a nap anyway. You need to do whatever you are going to do with that stuff anyway, right? Oh, perhaps you like to watch perhaps you like to watch girls sleeping. I'm not sure what to make of this, but Rin looks serious. Even if I did, I think I have to be going. I'll catch you later, Tezuka. You can call me Rin. I feel that our relationship is at this point good enough to warrant this much. Okay. I was already turning to make my exit, but she draws me back in. Fine then, I'm Hisao. Then you are. Rin looks at me hard in the eyes, but that intimidating feeling you get when someone stares at you isn't there. It's like she's actually not looking at me at all. She blinks a couple of times, and I can't figure out why a pause like this just popped between us out of nowhere. See you later, Hisao. There's something like a tiny smile. Yes, I don't know if you can see that, but there's really a tiny smile. There's something like a tiny smile there in her face, maybe. I quietly back out of the room. As I shut the door in front of my face, I whisper to myself, what an intriguing person. From inside I hear a muffled, sing-song voice. I heard that! What did she hear? I jump at the sudden appearance of Misha, who I had not heard approaching despite the completely empty hallway. Somehow she had gotten to jumping distance of me without making a sound. Creepy. It briefly reminds me of Kenji's nutty theory about the global feminist conspiracy, but I pushed that thought aside. Yeah man, Kenji is the man, I already told you, Kenji is the man. Shizune, standing slightly behind Misha, looks aloof, as she couldn't have heard the remark that drew Misha's attention, but Misha is visibly excited. No, wait, more importantly, who is in there? There's no club meetings today. She tries to curiously peek past me, even though the door prevents her from seeing anyway. What are you doing here? You took so long that we had to come check what's wrong. That's no good, Hee-chan. She wags her fingers at me scoldingly. I found plywood, but everything else is still missing because you are tardy. Oh, sorry, I got the things here, was just going to bring them. I think you were up to some mischief, Hee-chan. Who was in there with you, I wonder? Misha signs something quickly to Shizune, pointing at her own ear a couple of times. Shizune immediately pushes her way past me and opens the door into the classroom I just left. I can only imagine the shock she is experiencing. With Shizune's diligence and attitude, the insolence of daring to deface school property by sleeping on top of it must be too much to bear. And indeed, she stares at Rin, frozen in place apart from the slight but most noticeable trembling of her shoulders, from suppressed rage, I'm sure. Yeah, I'm sure too. Instead of blowing up, Shizune just takes a few deep breaths, adjusts her glasses, and slams the door shut, turning to sign furiously at Misha. Wow, that's really furiously. That's Look at the picture. Maybe she did blow up, but I can't understand it. She shoots a very loaded stare at me too, as if it was somehow my fault that Rin is sleeping on one of the tables. I hope she's not getting any funny ideas about the reason of my tardiness. Hello! Rin's voice comes from the other side of the door, and it takes a few eye blinks to realize she might have trouble opening it. I open the door to find Rin directly behind it, looking at us with a half-interested, half-sleepy face. Hello. Miss Tezuka, what do you think you are doing? You absolutely are not permitted to use school property for such, disgraceful activity. It sure is suddenly very crowded in here. I didn't know I was this popular. It's hard to say whether she's happy or unhappy about this turn of events. At any rate, she ignores Shizune, Misha's scoldings, so they have no choice but to drop the issue. Shizune taps Misha's shoulder, points at Rin, and makes some quick signs. Popularity aside, please don't do that anymore. Anyway, how's your project going? Will it be done for the festival? Rin looks at them blankly, apparently at ease under the pressure Shizune's cold stare is putting on her. I keep wondering about that myself too. Yeah, that's totally my attitude with projects. And we'll think about it harder. As Misha signs her reply to Shizune, her face turns into an unsatisfied frown. Frown. I know. Miss Tezuka, please try to take this seriously. It'll be a disaster if the wall looks like someone threw up their lunch onto it, my god. Rin nods assertively. We'll think more seriously. Misha actually giggles at that, but Shizune doesn't, not even after the translation. She just shakes her head, takes the materials from me, and takes off with Misha and Tao. Rin frowns thoughtfully as she looks after the retreating student council duo. How rude. It's true though, I must finish my project before the weekend. There will be dire consequences if I don't. The end of the world as we know it. Like weekends usually are, but more dire. Much more dire. Maybe I'll postpone my nap to unforeseen future. I ship you with Kenji, this would be hilarious. I am about to ask what project she has and what are these apocalyptic consequences, but she walks back into the art classroom. Since you have nothing to do, would you give me a hand? This paint can doesn't fit. Can like can, not like the verb. Or alright. This paint can doesn't fit into my bag, but I need it. She kicks lightly at a huge can of paint that's lying on the floor next to the table she was sitting and sleeping on. It lets out a dull clang. Being the gentleman I am, I naturally pick it up. Heavy. Yeah, sure. Where do you need to take it? Away. And with that, she takes off to the hallway, me and the paint can following since there's little choice for either of us. Poor paint can. Paint can. Difficult. The hallway is quiet and empty now, with Shizune and Misha gone, so we too leave towards the stairwell at the other end. Every 10 or 15 steps I have to change the can from one hand to another, because the thin handle cuts into my palm. At least it keeps my arms from tiring too fast. Rin strolls on beside with an uneven pace that I have trouble matching, or maybe I am walking weird because of the extra weight. It seems one of us is constantly walking too slow or too fast, and I can't figure out which. 2 flights of stairs below, trouble appears in the form of the head nurse and his fox-like grin. Ah, Mr. Nakai, what a happy coincidence! Tezuka too, of course. Why, of course. He nods courteously to Rin, who does not acknowledge him back, then turns to me because obviously it's me who he had some business with. There is something I forgot to mention on Monday. I nod and wait impassively because I can't even begin to guess what he forgot. The feeling of the handle delving deeper into my skin doesn't make me feel enthusiastic about this interruption either. It's about your medications. Since you haven't been that long on your current medications, there might be some unexpected side effect, which might require adjusting dosages or even changing to another kind of medication. So we will do a few tests regularly, but what I'd want is for you to keep an eye on everything in your condition that feels off, if you get what I mean. Nausea, headache, anything. And come see me if something happens. Alright. So how are you? Everything fine? I give up and drop the can to the floor before answering him. Apparently this takes longer than my biceps can handle. Yeah, probably if you're carrying it. I don't know how you're carrying it, but you're probably not using your biceps. Anyway. I'm about to say something generic as an answer, but then I realize how often I've done that lately. Other people have asked me that too. Teachers and students here. Teachers and students here. My parents, visitors, nurses, doctors at the hospital. Everyone seems to be concerned about that. It's natural for a hospital, not so much for a school. Except this school. This is a small school, and both the student base and the faculty seem to be very tightly knit. I think that's cool. At least that's the feeling I'm getting. This is not the kind of school that gets transfer students too often. The thought sends shivers up my spine, but I give a generic answer anyway. That's great. Also, one other thing. My sources tell me that you've been at neither the school track nor even the pool, so I'd like to know if you have taken up exercising as I asked. Of course I haven't. But his way of inquiring gives me the feeling that I should have been running my ass off on the track since the very first day. You have people spying on me? Not as such. I just happen to know a few people. Oh my god, he's a Yakuza. But that's not the issue here, so don't try to slip out of it. Well, I was actually just doing some improvised weightlifting as an exercise. I pick up and lift the can up and down a few times like some sad imitation of a bodybuilder, even though it's weighing down on my arms painfully. The stupid grin disappears from his face for a second, then comes back like it was never gone. Tezuka, would you give us a second? The nurse grabs me by the shoulder without waiting for Rin's permission, which he didn't need in the first place, and drags me aside. When I told you to exercise, I wasn't joking. I understand that you are still on your first week and all, but please don't ignore the importance of this. The reason I'm coming down this hard on you is that habits are not easy to form. The more you slip and postpone, the harder it'll be. It's the same with everything like dieting. Can you promise me to be more serious about this from now on? Yes, because if not, I probably die. So, would be a good idea. This was the easiest decision this far. Yeah, I promise, definitely. He studies me for a moment and then shrugs, smiling again. Okay, that's more like it. If you go to the school track tomorrow morning, you'll meet my spy, who probably has no qualms offering consultation to you if you want to jog a bit. Consultation? See you around. He leaves with a wave of his hand and no answer, and I walk to Rin, who has been waiting, idly leaning against the hallway and staring at the pale lightning fixtures in the ceiling. Even when I approach, she doesn't move her eyes at them. Are you getting medications for your heart thingy? Were you listening? It comes out more accusatory than I intended, accidentally lashing out on her. But even so, I don't really want to start talking about it. I just met her. I don't know her. It's not her business. I'm cool with her. The nurse seems to be happily ignorant about confidentially too, talking about that kind of thing in public. Maybe normal in this school, but still, maybe you shouldn't do that. But it's not Rin's fault, is it? I look up at her, suddenly feeling a bit guilty, but Rin is just staring past my shoulder quizzically, her head tilted, not titled, tilted like a bird's. Ah, I don't know why this is so hard for me. It feels like there's some inexplicable lock that prevents me from being upfront about this. Yeah, they're for my heart. Will they make you better? No, not really. They just make me a little less worse. Ring keeps looking at me for a while longer, and she neither says anything further nor displays any kind of emotion I could discern. I'm thankful that she doesn't. I think I'm still not quite used to this. At the hospital it was easy, but I still haven't sorted my feelings about having to live a normal life with this disability. We leave the main building, and Rin leads us onwards towards the dorm. We stop at the small patch of greenery in front of the dorm building. The dorm is built on a slightly elevated ground, with a wall and a few trees that everyone has to circle around every time they come or go. It's probably the only inconvenient design in the school. The entire wall, made of the same kind of bricks as the building itself, has been covered with some sort of a painting. Most of it is still mere sketches, quick lines drawn with black and white against the grey plastering that covers almost the entire length of the wall, but some places look a bit more finished. There are human faces and legs and hands. I can't quite say what the painting as a whole might portray. Stacks of what seem to be paint cans are arranged in piles on the ground besides the wall. See, the left side is hardly off the ground yet. It's because I couldn't get in the mood yesterday, so I gave up and went to meditate instead. You call that meditation? Sleeping? Then it was suddenly morning. I have to work on it, but the guys from art class are helping with the negative spaces and base surfaces whenever, which is a problem. It's easier to paint big areas if there are a lot of people with hands. The reach is better and it's faster too. She goes on a tangent of a tangent, waving a little with her arm or whatever of it there actually is to demonstrate, even though I got the point already. The white cotton of her sleeves flaps around, and it makes me think it could look sadder than it does. But it makes me feel out of place, like almost every tangible reminder of the student base's special properties has in the past few days. This girl doesn't notice my dreary feelings, of course, or the fact that she lost me a while ago already, and just keeps on blabbering. So that's why I'm trying whoopsie shit. So something about lost hope. Because paint has to be painted, and then it has to dry, and then it has to be painted over with another kind of paint. It takes time. She finally stops, apparently thinking she made some kind of statement that makes sense. I think it's best to start from the top. So this is your project. You did this? Yes. Yes. All of it? Yes. Nice. But... I stumble with my words, suddenly feeling like I've walked straight into the minefield of political incorrectness. It's okay, you can say it. I probably won't go mad. I blush really hard. I don't really know what would be the right thing to say, if any. It feels that I'm way more sensitive than Rin is, though. Well, you're a bit oversensitive. This is really awkward. Don't you want to ask? How do you paint without hands? See, I'm an easy person to talk to, right? With my feet. I almost guessed that already, but isn't that hard to do? You're good at guessing. Anyway, I don't think it is, but maybe I'm used to it by now. I can't get my mind around the fact that she could be an artist, but seeing how adept she was using her feet to eat, I figure painting might not be a problem either. Neither of us has anything more to add to the subject. The afternoon light works pretty well. I was afraid it would look too flat, but it's not like that after all. I think it's actually pretty interesting. I wanted to see what it looks like in dim light. Do you think it's flat? Ah, well, paintings tend to be flat. Oh, you... Pfft, not like that flat. You know, flat, like some people are. No substance, no meat, where there should be some. I know a few girls who... very funny. Okay, I get it, but I couldn't really tell her. I'm not that good with art. I can't name many artists or artistic terms, so I don't really have anything to say. Rin shrugs her shoulders at that saying suit yourself without saying it and looks up at the sky as if trying to look for something up there. I didn't think I'd get any actual work done, but if you give me a hand with the paints, I could do a little before it's too dark. I wanted to get a halogen lamp like the ones they have at the sports track, but there aren't any. Rin sure is quick to recruit my help, as was Shizuna. It really makes me feel that the festival is such a big project that every pair of hands is needed. Why not? I'm not really sure if I can be any help though. It's just mixing some paints, you can do that. Probably. Do we have motor control problems, like those people who have some? Like those people who have some? Cerebral palsy, maybe? Not that I know of. I get it. Hard thingy has nothing to do with that. She gives me a sly look for no reason. No, it doesn't. Let's do it then. Yeah, she's cool. So she sits on an empty wooden box and very naturally picks up a white brush between the toes of her bare right foot. Oh man, I've got to stop. My throat is so dry. And I think we can pick up here next time. Now she starts painting and probably something happens. So thank you very much for watching. Come back next time if you like this part, and yeah, hope to see you soon. Bye bye.